Hey everyone, Steve here telling you to tune in for our live stream debut of Lag, Libations, and Lost Saves. We're bringing you news, segments, roundtables, and more. We're just going to have a great time, so be sure to join us on Wednesday, February 9th, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. We're looking forward to seeing you all there.
Coming from a galaxy near you, this is Brothers in Booze. And here are your hosts, Greg Washington and Doug Ziegler.
And Lauren Yee. Hello, everybody. How you doing?
Great. Hello,
Hi,
everyone.
Lauren. Nice to see you. Nice to have you as a co-host again.
Always happy to be here.
We know. That's why we asked you a lot.
I love it. I'm here for it.
So you're caught. You're caught. Hi, Doug. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. I'm happy to be here and happy to enjoy some time with you folks and our guests, of course. So
wonderful. Well, I've already started, as Doug, you already know. I'm drinking a Fantasy Factory, Doug. I know you love this can art.
Yes, I do.
What a cat.
Yeah. On a unicorn.
With a unicorn and all kinds of stuff. We had the brewer. It's a cold IPA. We had the brewer from Carbon 4 on our Badger Beer Hour, which was last week, and it just compelled me to go and buy a whole bunch of Carbon 4. So that's what I'm drinking tonight. What are y'all having? Doug, we'll wait for yours. And Lauren, what are you having?
Well, I have a plethora of options. And I am not sure if I haven't opened a new beverage in order to have a clean palate for our guests, but I may have something second later.
All right. Well, it looks like Daniel, who is next week's guest, by the way, is all ready for the Sorel.
Hey, exciting.
I am goofy excited. So we, without further ado, Lauren, you have something to say, don't you?
We have a lovely guest for y'all tonight, which you probably know, but if you don't, we have the founder, creator, magician behind the oh so tasty Sorel liqueur beverage, Jackie from Brooklyn. I love his willingness to play and fail and have fun with life and also care about everybody. And
at the same time,
at the same time, it's a lot in a great way.
I mean,
could you ask for more?
It's epic, isn't it? So without further ado, that lovely introduction, there's no reason not to just bring him
What's up, motherfucker?
What's up?
It is good to see you all again, Lauren, Daddy. Doug, I'm just glad you're healthy, man. Seriously, you scared the shit out of us, man.
Yeah, thank you.
I
don't know how to respond to that. Thank you. I'm glad I'm alive too. This is good.
Right.
Live is a good place to start.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And so is kindness, but we'll get into that in a second, Jackie. What is everybody else? I showed my Fantasy Factory IPA, but I have this ready. Is that what everybody else is? Is it time to? Should we just hit this in the? Should we just get?
Why wait?
Why wait?
Hit it.
Should we? Okay.
So
Well, y'all go first, and we'll just go around and make sure.
For a couple.
I've never tried it before. I've never tried it. This is the lady of the house did this.
So is it okay if I lead you? Is it okay if I lead you a little bit?
Yes.
Let's do it.
So here's the fun part. Everyone get a little bit in the glass.
Okay.
See that beautiful color? That's all hibiscus flowers. Now, if you nose it, you're gonna get a lot of clove.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's clove. Okay.
With a hint of ginger.
Oh, the ginger.
Can you roll your tongue into a tube? Not everyone can do this. It's a weird genetic thing. This is a wine tasting trick. Roll your tongue into a tube and take a sip and have it sit in the middle of your tongue. And what you're going to get is fruit and flowers. Then flatten out your tongue and it's going to change.
Whoa. That was great.
You get cinnamon, that little burn on the side, and you get wood in the back, that's nutmeg. And the ginger and the clove almost vanish.
That's weird. You're right. When you roll that tongue, it's just like it's all fruity, and then you let it go, and it's like all those other things.
It's a different flavor.
And then I feel like after you sip it and then smell it again, it's like a whole there's layers of delicious things.
Yes.
Oh my god, it's so good.
It's fun.
It's fun. I want to pour this over ice cream right now.
Oh, it is delicious over like vanilla ice cream. Hell yes.
Yes. Okay. This is maybe a problem. Okay, we're starting here, which is delicious.
Yes.
I have also prepared a second version of tasting, and I happen to have vanilla ice cream, so this may be a lovely problem soon.
Well, I'll also say it makes a wonderful reduction on meats.
I can see that. Yep.
You got a nice gamey meat. It's delicious.
Oh, so like your venison and stuff like that.
Like a venison, like a good pork, duck.
Oh.
It's a great reduction.
Also, I would just like to note that I'm starting with classy, but by the end of this, it may not end there. We'll see. It's very dangerously delicious. It feels also with this, like all the spices you were talking about, it's very like, it's wintry. It's like, I mean, any season drink it, but like it feels like a very wintry vibe.
Warms.
Here's the fun part. This comes from a place where it's always 80 degrees. So they drink this straight over ice, and if you serve it cold, it is fruity and floral. I'm in Brooklyn. It's fucking 12 degrees outside right now. Fuck winter. Winter's racist. If you serve it hot, it's spicy and nutty. So I drink it hot in a way that my ancestors would never have thought of in the wintertime.
Hot?
But if you drink it hot, it's a completely different beverage.
Like not room temp, but like actively hot.
Yes, heat it up.
I haven't tried that yet either. Oh
if you serve it hot, the floral notes and the fruit notes sit to the back, and all that baking spice sits right up front.
Is that what you get is that what you get when you get a reduction? You get all those flavors that way?
Yes.
Okay.
But I mentioned all that to say, Lauren, you said you might, go through more than a finger or two. Here's the fun part about this, because I've seen people drink a bottle of this in one sitting. People don't get alcohol drunk from this.
Okay.
Hibiscus, ginger, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg. Nutmeg is a mild narcotic. So what folks get is not a little drunk, they get a little high, which is not the worst thing.
I mean, it just adds to the fun, right? I don't see a problem here.
Either. And like you said, even just having it straight up, it's like a lot of liqueurs you can't do that. That's like super syrupy and stuff like that. This is not like that at all.
This is why when people ask me what you compare Sorel to, I say you can't. The biggest Campari, the biggest Saint Germain, the biggest Cointreau fan is not going to drink it straight.
Nope.
So Jackie, real quick, Doug and Lauren and I, as we talked about in pre-production, we all kind of know you from the first run. For anybody who's watching you right now that doesn't know you, please give us a little bit of history of yourself and tell us about how you came to Sorel.
I'm gonna keep it short. We got better stuff to talk about. 11 years ago, I had a cancer scare. I figured it was time to get out of publishing. I was the director of production at a magazine. I've been making a version of this in my kitchen for friends and family for almost 20 years. I decided I was going to turn it into a commercial version. I had no money and I had no experience as a food scientist. I made the first ever shelf-stable version of this beverage. It's been around for 500 years. When I got my license to make liquor in 2012, I was the only black person in the country with a license to make liquor. I'm probably the first legal black distiller post-prohibition. That's the short version.
It's your elevator pitch for Sorel.
Right. Lauren, what's going on?
Well, I mean, this is less of a specific follow-up to the story, but we have the room temp. I don't know if I should give him a minute, but a moment ago, I poured some into my iced glass, and I was wondering if you could tell. I haven't sipped it yet. I mean, I have before, but I haven't sipped it yet. But I was wondering if you can re-describe what I should be tasting momentarily.
It should be more floral and more fruity the colder it gets.
Right, because spicier versus fruitier.
Yes.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm gonna drink it.
Yeah, I decided to just do the start off straight up with the ice cube because I wanted to go with the fruitier notes. But yeah, what are you getting there, Lauren?
Danger in a glass of refreshing and let me be tropical poolside and just down this like it's nothing.
Yes.
It's very, I mean, it's absolutely fruitier, but the flavor's there. It doesn't, even though there's ice, it's chilled, but it doesn't feel dilute. There's still plenty of flavor, but it's totally different.
It's totally different.
And this is so lovely.
It takes it out of that winter feel that you said you had from, wow, okay, real fast.
It's still there, but 100, okay, maybe not exactly 180, but
right
165,
okay.
A lot.
Okay.
At a certain point tonight, take an ounce, put it in the microwave for 20 seconds, and watch what happens.
Okay. Well, I kind of want to I might ask for a pause and be not at this exact moment, but I will do that with y'all. It'll be a whole tasting.
Very nice.
So
the to that end, like you said, with the cold, you get the floral and all that. I still get some of the cinnamon and ginger notes, so at the end, but not as much as you get it if it was warm. The warm is much more upfront that way. But man, that's one of those drinks. Like you said, you could drink it now when I'm in upstate New York. It's cold as fuck outside, and it's really good. But I could see having that on a patio in the summer when it's super hot too. If you just put an ice cube or two in it, let it
some
chill.
seltzer and lime, good to go.
Oh, even more additions. I have too many things to try. I need another bottle.
I think you can order more.
The way I described Sorel is it's that friend that gets behind you and cheers on everything you do. You can put it with gin, vodka, rum, mezcal, tequila, bourbon, rye, and it won't dominate. It'll go, you be your best self.
I love that as the tagline for Sorel because it feels right.
The cheering best friend.
Oh, hey, kitty kiss. Hey, best friend.
Dude, I don't need to see your butthole, dude. But thank you.
They had to check.
Hey, Jackie, you see that question down there?
What's the question? The question is, will the warm version taste more like a mulled wine? Yes. Yes, it will. But here's the beautiful part. Because there's no grapes, there's no tannin, so you won't get the mulled wine headache.
Ooh. I feel like there won't be because it's your beverage and you're you and pitching. Is there it doesn't feel like there's a downside. It feels like everything about this is amazing and great.
This has been around for centuries. It's been around for 500 years. West Africans who made this, 5 centuries ago knew that this was medicinal. It's full of antioxidants. It's full of antimicrobials. It's got more vitamin C than most citrus fruit. It's a natural aphrodisiac. Everyone drinks this and feels better.
I love it.
Here's something that no one in alcohol will admit to, right?
Okay.
Alcohol does not taste good.
I mean,
so people will put alcohol in barrels and, to add flavor over time. They'll add flavorants to it. Everyone's trying to figure out how to make alcohol taste good. They're adding flavor to alcohol. I do the opposite. I add alcohol to flavor.
It seems like a winning combination and version of addition to me. It's working out great.
And the funny thing is, that seems like so common sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why not do that? You know, we see it with beer all the time where you add adjuncts in it to add flavor. But, you know, you can do that, and that some of them taste really good. But like the idea of like, all right, I'm going to create a flavorful drink, and then I'm going to add the alcohol, infuse that into it to give it so it maintains that flavor. It doesn't seem overpowering, or like you said, like alcohol. Like if you get that really harsh alcohol, that shit tastes terrible.
No, and it'll kill you. It'll kill you. It's terrible for you. I mean, we all want to find a way to take the edge off of life. I'm fine with that, but like this was always meant to be celebratory, it's not something that you do to drown your sorrows in.
That feels very on brand for what I know about you, which is not everything, but it feels correct. It's very in your lane.
It's not my story. I'm the custodian of the story. The story is centuries old. But the people who were drinking this 15 years ago, the purpose was not to get drunk. The purpose was to be around people that you love and to celebrate something. So, Doug, like, may you live forever, brother. I'm glad you're healthy.
Thank you. Cheers to that, folks.
Cheers to that. Hey, Jackie, tell everybody where we can get Sorel before we get on to some silly shit.
Go to Reserve Bar. Have it shipped right directly to your house.
And I believe that's how reservebar.com. I believe that's how everybody else here got it, right?
That's how I got it. I think Daniel Fisher was the only one who found it locally. Maybe
but he's he's there.
Yeah, he's in Hell's Kitchen, I think. So,
yeah. He's in NYC, but we got Lauren out in the West Coast, we got Doug out in the East Coast, we got me in the Midwest, and we all were able to get it. So y'all be able to get it if you go to reservebar, I believe.com, or do what everybody does is put Google in it, and that'll auto-correct it and send you there. And then you stick in Sorel, Sorel. And I don't know. I had some so I don't know about y'all's what happened when y'all went to order it, but I went to order it, Jackie. And so I have one of these things in my browser where like it pops up and it gives me like coupons and shit. Apparently there was some coupon, and I ended up only spending, I think, $5 on it or something. I got this big discount. I clicked on it. It took forever though for it to get to my house. So it was almost a point to where I was like, "Whoa! Did y'all even take money out for this?"
So I'll tell you how Reserve Bar works. Reserve Bar is not delivering stuff to you. They're a tech company that, like every other company that delivers alcohol, connects with local retailers. So Reserve Bar takes your order, and then a local retailer is actually who's mailing it to you. So what's happening is Reserve Bar can take your order and your money, but if your local retailer is not on their game, it's going to take a long time.
And Daniel did. Okay, so officially Daniel just ordered it. But I mean, I'm trying to order everything with COVID. So I'm trying to have everything delivered to my house.
I'm trying to leave the house.
I don't want to go right. I don't need to leave the house with COVID. That's kind of what I'm not even trying to go there at the point.
I'll tell you, like I said before, I love people enough to get vaccinated, and I hate them enough to say the fuck away from them.
If nothing else, I can get behind that. I mean, also I love people. It's just some aggressive sometimes, but I can get behind that.
So Lauren, it looks like Daniel is echoing what you said previously about, well, nice, it's so damn refreshing.
It's weird because like it doesn't it feels like a cousin of the other beverage. It's not a totally different beverage, but like what it is doing and how it tastes and how it comes off is like such a different vibe.
Yeah, that makes
I don't even know what to do with myself.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get some ice cubes here in a second, and y'all gonna take over this whole thing.
I'm so ready to see your face.
Yeah, I want to see how you like that.
Yeah. So I just need to get y'all to talk a little bit. So let's talk about.
I can do that. Well, I mean, I don't want you to miss things though, but it's fine. I was gonna ask a question to
absolutely,
Jen.
please. Please.
So
please.
Jackie, starting a business is always hard, right? And there's like got to be hiccups along the way. I hear you may have a story for us.
Hiccups would be a relief.
Oh,
There's heart attacks and strokes and whole times when you're like on EKG on life support. Hiccups would be a welcome relief.
okay. Well, so there's like aggressive towing the line of death, apparently. But hopefully it's worth it.
I was going to tell you a story about when I got my trademarks done.
Okay.
Again, I think we were talking about being aggressive, and my whole thing is I'm not aggressive. I'm from Brooklyn. I was getting my trademarks done. This is 10 years ago. I'm sitting with my trademark attorney, and I'm writing a big check. And I said to him, "You're expensive." And he said, "Trademark searches cost what they cost, Jack." I said, "I can afford trademark searches. You're expensive." He said, "Do you like my advice?" I said, "I signed the check, didn't I?" He goes, "I'm only trying to protect what you're trying to build." I say to him, "I've got 3 lawyers on retainer right now who are all trying to protect what I'm trying to build. And outside of business acumen and ethics, there's a single quality that I value in all of them because it's something that I value in myself." And he goes, "Well, what's that?" And I said, "An air of menace." And I managed not to bust out laughing.
And then what happened?
Yes, you can't just stop there.
He might have peed himself a little, and that's okay.
It landed how it was supposed to land.
I'm not aggressive. I'm from Brooklyn.
And you own, I like that you own it. You got to be authentic, right? Just be you. Not trying to be a jerk. You just say to the fact. I actually really appreciate that. You're expensive. Like, you're not like, you're a dick. You're just like, no. You're expensive. Like, this is a fact. This is a fact. I'm writing a big check. And they're just like, "Well, what do you want from me?" And you're like, "I just said a thing. Like, it's fine."
Right. And I wasn't taking the check back. I paid him for it.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I love that you own that story.
Yeah.
Daniel said, "No, is there anything that tastes like this?" Not really, no.
No, and I haven't had that particular unibrow.
I was like, what is that?
Yeah, that unibrow makes like the Fin du Monde, and they make a lot of really good Belgian beers. I think they're from Canada. I could be wrong. But I've never had what he's talking about because he even posted a link to it in there, but I'll have to look and see what that is. This is the only thing that actually, it's going to sound weird, but we have elderberry bushes here, and my wife will make elderberry syrup. That's good for colds and all that shit. And I gave her a little sample of this before the show started, and I texted her during the show, and I'm like, "This is excellent." And she's like, "Yeah, it really reminds me of the elderberry syrup I make." And that has no booze in it. That's just a straight, like an elixir for if you have a cough or like you're a little sick. But it does have very much it. All right, I'm going to say it's medicinal. It doesn't taste medicinal. That's you know what I mean. That's what it reminds me of. And yeah, it's really
absolutely.
Delicious.
I mean, it's because it's that like herbaceous thing. Like, that's what usually is like medicinal, other than like gross, like red NyQuil flavor. Like, that's medicinal. But also like the herby floral thing. Sometimes that's just like it's not a flavor that's like salty, sweet. It's like the other flavor. So,
right.
I get it. It's tasty.
Mm-hmm.
So
damn refreshing.
You trying it hot now? Oh, you got
cold.
Ice.
You went cold.
Yeah.
It gets fruitier and more floral the colder it gets.
Mm-hmm. Cinnamon too.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I love it.
It's hard because like one is not necessarily better than the other by any means, but like chilled is like it's less of a sipping beverage and more of a, I'm going to just chug this because it's so good, which is both good and bad.
Yeah.
What's the bad part about that, Lauren?
I mean, then the bottle's going to be gone too fast. Which is on myself to purchase some more. That's,
I don't see the bad part about that personally. I will make more.
Okay, noted. I will hold you to that.
Mm-hmm.
I almost want to say challenge accepted, but I feel like that's bad choice.
So, forever who didn't see our first stream when Jackie on it, we were just mesmerized, and I wouldn't say mesmerized, maybe mesmerized, at least I was. We were very, very touched by what Jackie had to say about a lot of things. I remember Lauren and I even discussing this long after the stream about how the way that Jackie talks about kindness, and the way that Jackie talks about how humanity is kind but yet not kind. And we have a lot of people who want to show kindness. Jackie's one of them, but at the same time, there's a level of protecting oneself in the whole thing, because not everybody wants to show kindness. Since we last saw you, Jackie, it seems like it's kind of blown up, this whole for lack of a better word, or for lack of a better term, wokeness and what it means, what that word means. And now people weaponize this as like woke mob and all kinds of horse shit, in my opinion, like that. So I just kind of want to set you up to talk about that a little bit. What does those words mean to you? And where are you at in all of this discourse?
It is not unusual for people who seek to maintain the status quo to attempt to co-opt the language of rebellion. So that's not new that they're trying to take wokeness and turn it into a bad thing. Who the fuck wants to be a sleepy motherfucker? What they're accusing people of is awareness. And awareness at this point in our history comes with a choice and an obligation. You can choose not to be aware. You can bury your head in the sand, pretend like, yesterday didn't happen, today isn't happening, the last 400 years didn't happen. That is your choice. Because if you choose to be aware, obligations come with that. Like you could choose to not watch the weather and go out in the freezing cold and freeze your nuts off. That's a choice. It's a choice. Or you could choose to watch the weather and go, oh, it's cold out, I should put on a coat. And maybe you can protect your nuts. The people who are choosing to be unaware, the people who are choosing ignorance, I don't have much patience for that. It is their choice. And, God bless America. If this country is about anything, it's protecting a person's right to be a freaking idiot. And I have to support that, right? Like people have to have a right to choose. But choices have consequences. So my feeling is people can choose to be aware of the past and the present and how it's going to affect the future or not. But their choices will come with consequences, and that's fine. All these people that, chose not to get vaccinated, and then you see in a few weeks after they're making the big Facebook posts about how they're anti-vax, then their families are putting up GoFundMe pages to take care of the funeral arrangements. It's a choice. I'm not gonna make you, but there's consequences, and that's fine with me.
Amen.
And that's something that it's interesting because you think about consequences, and often we think about consequences being like only negative. But consequences, there's good and bad consequences to everything you choose and do. And if you choose to be a good human and you choose to help people and do right, the consequences for that are generally good. I mean, but if you're a dick, then the consequences, with some unfortunate karmatic exceptions, is generally pretty bad. So yeah, I don't know. That was just when you were talking about consequences and choices, and the idea of like, okay, well, you made a choice not to get back, then you made a choice to do this, that, the other thing. All your actions have consequences, whether they be good consequences or bad consequences.
Exactly.
Every choice, everything is a choice. Even if your choice is like not choosing, you're choosing something, right?
Yes.
And all of it matters because it is a choose your own adventure. So like no matter what happens, something else happens. So it's I also am like, yeah, can we aim for the positive? Because what else or otherwise what are we doing to some extent? And I have such a hard time grasping the other parallel universe of why would I not do that? But
it takes a lot of energy to be ignorant.
Yeah, and it seems like just like not the good kind of energy too. It's like that seems fucking exhausting. Like
Yeah.
I don't.
All right.
Again, I'm from Brooklyn. I got unlimited love and limited patience.
I feel you on that because, okay, my friend Jeff Harry knows the story, and part of me is like, if he hears this, he will not let me live it down because. But I agree to something. Like, I will be kind and caring and thoughtful. I'm a generally nice, good person until you prove to me that I shouldn't be. And not in a generally in the world aggressive way, but in one specific way, I feel like this comes up, which I haven't experienced in the last couple of years because pandemic times, and I don't see people. But in retail, when you enter like a clothing store, I will be clean slate. I don't know you. I'm entering a store. Cool. We're going to have an exchange. I will be nice to you as much as I can. But the like 12th time that you bother me and ask if you can help me in like 3 minutes, I will start to lose and be like, I will find you if I need your help. Thank you. And I just can't. But I'm going to try to be nice. But I was like, okay, listen, Sarah, I appreciate what you're doing, and I'm still fine. Thank you.
Right. I remember those days of retail, going into a place and shopping. Wow, that seems like
It's
7 years
ages
ago,
right?
It was because it was several years ago at this point.
Right. I said
doing their
7,
job.
Doug, but
Okay.
I said 7, but
But I get it. I'm gonna be nice. You're doing your job. I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm trying very kindly to just say like, no, I'm good. Thank you. Got it. You told me about that sale. Oh, you're a coworker also. Yep. That rack is a brand new. Thank you. Okay. No, I don't need help today. I don't need a dressing room. Nope. Okay.
That sounds like pre-pandemic problems.
Yes.
Because now I don't think, again, I haven't been in one for a while, but now I don't think you can find anybody in there. There's probably like one person like hiding behind the cash register. You know what I'm saying? Like the shortages of people that work at these places now. I mean, they can't even come around to bug you. They're so busy, and then also too, not to belabor a point, but they're also worried about these masked people and whether they can be in or not, and all that altercation. And I didn't even look today for any crazy mask videos, Jackie, because I'm just up to here. At some point, it was like a novelty, and Doug and I used to love it, and we would show them, and we would laugh. And now I'm just fucking fed up with y'all. So like, I don't even know if like, I've reached my point of like, it's not amusing anymore. It's fucking annoying. And again, we're here in year. I don't know if y'all saw the South Park post-COVID show. You should. Yes. It's funny, but like they're 40 years into it, and I'm like, right, this is where we're going. and it's not funny anymore. So I gotta watch South Park because y'all just frustrate me too. I mean, at this point, it's just frustrated because, like everybody, I want to get back to quote normal, or I want to go back to where Lauren and I were able to at least once a year share a fucking drink together, like where she's like right next to me across. Right, I remember, Lauren. I do remember the last time we shared a drink together. You were right across from me, this little table, and
do you remember bowling? Yo, let's go put on shoes other people have worn.
Oh yeah,
keep our fingers in these holes that other people have stuck their fingers in while we're eating food.
Oh my God, no! Don't eat the food while you do it. That's a rookie mistake.
Right. And meanwhile, Jackie, we're all sharing nachos that are sitting at a table. Doug's digging in. I'm right after. Doug drops a chip from his mouth, goes back in. I'm
the double dippers. Double dippers.
And I'm scooping it up and eating it. I don't know if we'll ever get back to normal in this. Will we, in this aspect, where we're just like, we're all around the table sharing a fucking appetizer, Lauren? And like, is that ever gonna happen again? Like, are you gonna trust?
I mean, maybe not a stranger.
Right.
Humans are disgusting.
I mean, that's true. I work with children for years, and that's 100%. Like, kids are great. Humans are like generally fine. Also, gross.
Right.
Yes,
well, all these things again. I think isn't that a positive of the pandemic that we're maybe not going to go back to that level of like we just didn't give a. Nobody here gave a shit. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody did.
Is it gonna
there was
be
like 3 people? There were 3 people who did, Lauren, and we called them germaphobes.
But is that where we're going to end up now? Are we now all germaphobes and we're going to have like weak ass like immune systems because we don't touch anything?
Do you remember raw dogging air with strangers?
Yes.
God, can we now? You got to use protection. Come on.
Yeah.
This has to be a consensual airspace.
You know, I don't like protection. It spoils the mood.
Yes, I can't feel it.
Raw dogging air. Oh man, that's great. Right, Jackie is. Man, I can't keep up with your quotes, man. But I do remember the one quote that you said, or the one phrase that you said the last time you were here, and I still say it. And every time I say it, my family laughs. Is this one?
Dick Rockets.
And now we call him Mr. Dick Rockets in this house. Like that's who he is. That's what he is. That's it, Mr. Dick Rockets.
You can't forget the second half of that, which was into almost space.
Yeah, that was like the super subtle dig that was like fucking perfect. Just
it's also it's filed back there.
Right.
And now that asshole is it him or the other one that's got a rocket that's gonna hit the moon? What the fuck is wrong with these guys? What?
I don't know. Doesn't one of these guys have like this Neuralink thing, Doug, where he's trying to implant you? And
that's douche nozzle Elon Musk,
right?
I want you who can't complete a fucking bullet train to put a fucking link in my brain. Yes, I want that guy to do that, please.
Dude, we've seen your haircut, Elon. We don't trust you.
Okay, should we talk about maybe this is judgy and like we're gonna make sweeping generalizations, but like what are the things that make you not trust somebody? Like, because you know how there are certain people where you're like this, like certain people you're like, okay, like Putin looks like a villain, like just like
straight up,
like he just does.
And there's something on movie.
Yeah, so like there's that, but then just like regular, everyday, whoever. Like, are there things where you're like, why is that happening? And like they could be kind people, we don't know, but like our brain makes judgments because we have to get through life, right? So like, what are our haircuts? Are haircuts one of your filtering factors, Jackie?
Well, it's not the bad haircut. It's the fact that he can afford a stylist.
Oh, and also just, I mean, maybe they chose that. Who's to say?
See, why would you choose that? What is wrong with you? Don't trust him.
Right.
You're not. I mean, like, I don't disagree with you.
Right.
And
Right. Doug, do you have any categories here?
I actually find the people who don't look villain-like but are fucking dicks to be more concerning. The people that look like, I'll give you an example. Lindsey fucking Graham looks like the dopiest uncle grandpa you've ever seen, and he is an evil piece of shit.
Right.
But it's just because he's an ass kisser, and those kind of people you should inherently not trust because they're not there to make right decisions. They're there to curry favor for themselves along. I think those kind of people. Now,
I mean, that's true. It's hard to make those judgments because, like, you don't know until you find out.
Yeah, and
Right.
that's the thing is he looks innocent. Like he looks like the guy that maybe says some inappropriate shit at your family gathering.
Wait,
but like
Doug, does he look like someone you'd let babysit your kids?
No. Okay, that's a good point.
Different assessments, yes, different lenses.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And also, I'm seeing this through like a middle-aged white guy lens, so I have that like flavoring it too. So like, you know what I mean? Like, just I have that sort of visor on that kind of taints it in ways that I don't see some things I should. But like I said, to me, you see those people who are just shady but look like they aren't. They're the people. They're con men.
So I'll tell you a funny story, Doug. About 10 years ago, I'm leaving my mom's house. I get on the train. I'm at the very first stop in Queens at Archer Avenue. And there are these two enormous black guys. One sitting to my left, one sitting to my right. And I'm trying to see if I need to ward off trouble. So I look to my left, slow. And I give the most imperceptible of nods. Like, and look to my right, again, gigantic human. Look to my right and I go, now I figure I'm fine. And then look straight ahead of me. And straight ahead of me is this guy, leather jacket, bandana, motorcycle boots. It's me. I'm looking at my own reflection. Like, oh, I'm a big scary black guy. Oops. Oops. And I realize that sometimes people look at me and that's what they see.
Yes.
And sometimes that's good. Sometimes I want them to be afraid.
Right.
Because it's the protection.
I get that.
Right.
But I also have to realize that there are all sorts of myths built around the dangerous black man in this country, which mostly don't serve my interests.
Lauren, did you have something to say or no?
I mean, okay. There's like the sides of this because part of me is like, I don't like this might get serious, but like if you know that, is it the choice of like I don't want people to like minimize themselves, but at the same time where you're just like to get by in this world, like as a black guy, you're like, okay, do I need to like not be small, but you know, like act smaller so that I'm not in trouble? Because I as a shorter Asian woman sometimes have the opposite version of just like, nope, I'm walking fast. I know where I'm going. Like, I'm not like, I have a purposeful walk. Like, I'm not generally like scared, but I'm very aware of my surroundings. And it's just like, okay, cool. Like I am talking to somebody or I'm on my phone or I'm like walking with, like I gotta have not a front, but like, don't move along, people. I have places to be. People are expecting me. I'm talking to people. Whatever.
So, real question, Lauren: how many times have you had to walk around somebody walking down the street because they were walking straight towards you?
I mean, probably relatively often.
Yeah.
I mean, not lately, but ever. Yes.
So I was raised by people who were taught to make white people feel safe because their lives were in jeopardy.
Mhm.
And it was literally a question of life or death, whether or not you were deferential. I am not deferential. And I don't get smaller for anyone. Period. End of story. Other people's insecurities are not my problem.
I had to learn this.
I had to learn this.
And I had to learn this too. Yep. Yep.
So
I'm just going to do me and that's it.
I'll tell you what I figured out, right? Do you remember people saying when you were younger, be unapologetically black? It's not enough. Why would I apologize for this?
Right.
This is the money here. Like, apologize. You're welcome.
It ain't gonna happen.
That's my take. Like, for rock music, you're welcome. For jazz and hip hop and gospel and country, you're welcome. For adding flavor to your language, you're welcome. For adding flavor to your food, you're welcome. For teaching you how to dance, you're welcome. For big round asses, you're welcome. For these beautiful fat lips that you all trying to get, you're welcome.
Right. I never. Right.
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 For making being bald cool, you're welcome.
Right, Doug.
I don't do it. I do. You're welcome.
Yeah, I don't do the bald because it looks cool. I do it because I have a giant freaking Friar Tuck patch in the back of my head that looks ridiculous. So,
but it doesn't matter though. You're cool with your baldness.
It works.
I appreciate that. Also, I think I just grow I grow the beard to hide like my pencil thin lips, so that way you don't have to worry about
that. Oh man! So we're gonna move on real quick here. So I'll start off real quick because I got a quick one. Doug knows I was on Sanford and Son. I was binging. I absolutely love that. I was really sad when I came to the end because I just felt like I was in Lamont and Fred's living room, and I was for like 3 weeks. And it was just fun, and it was just great to go back. I didn't see them all, so then I just started on this one, this week. And I'm finding out a lot about the Jeffersons that I didn't know before because I was just younger. First of all, Lauren, the N-word was dropped more than once, and I just saw an episode, Doug, last night that Willis said the N-word. And I'm just like, yeah, he did. And George is like, what? You called me that? Like, and like they just went off, and I was just amazed about how obviously times have changed on TV. And both Sanford and George were racist, sexist characters, period. Like, I just saw a whole show, Lauren, about how George wouldn't hire a female to be to be a manager of his cleaning store. And even his mother, I don't know if you remember Mama Jefferson, but she loved George Jefferson like nobody's business. Like, she was behind her son all the time, but not that time. And that was when Mother Jefferson and Wheezy got together, because you know they butted heads the whole way through. Mm-hmm. But Mother Jefferson and Wheezy were like, no, motherfucker. Like, we could do this as much as you. And he's like, and then unfortunately for the lady, she was white too. So that was like a double mark with George. But it was just very interesting watching both those shows and seeing like a racist, sexist character, and then having the people in the show give pushback. So, like, before we move on to y'all's ones, I just have a question. Like, are we missing that in society a little bit, where there are people who are racist, period, and we're not depicting them as much as we used to in our, they're not mirroring society on our shows mostly. And are we losing something by not having that aspect? But you could also have the people in the show push back. So to me, I'm not offended or anything, because again, Wheezy and all of them are pushing back on. Wheezy's always pushing back on George's bullshit. She loves the man, but she's just like, no, we're not having that. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't, say we're not having any sexism or racism. But every time he says something stupid, she's like, no, come on, you can't be that way. What are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because her best friend is the Willises. I forget who the Willis's wife is, but they're best friends. And George is always cracking on Willis because he's white. Always. Like, every show he says something. But Wheezy's like, George, shut up. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, are we losing something as a society if we don't address these things kind of directly like this? Or should we just not have people be racist and sexist and act like it's not there? Or I don't know. I just feel that we're not doing this enough, Jackie, now that I look back. Because what do you say?
Could we make the movie Blazing Saddles today?
Probably not.
Right. So, right.
Because that movie is hilarious.
Right. Right. And the Jeffersons is hilarious. Sanford and Son is just classic. It really is. If y'all haven't seen it, it's on Amazon Prime. Go back. So is the Jeffersons too. All of it's free.
I think what happened is it used to be okay to make fun of racists, right? Because we had racists before. We had Archie Bunker. We had George Jefferson. We had everyone in Blazing Saddles was racist, but we were making fun of them because it wasn't okay.
Right.
Now we can make those jokes because it's not okay to make fun of them anymore. They got very sensitive.
Right. And this is what I don't understand about this woke mob and all these people like, we're changing history and culture, but we're taking a lot of it out too, and we're not, I don't know. What do you think, Lauren? This is a tough one, I think.
It's okay. So a couple things and disclaimers and caveats. Like, I watch things, but I'm not as up with it as many people. Like, I don't watch as many movies or TV shows that a lot of people do. So I'm like, as you were talking, like, what are the shows that are happening right now? Like, can I name things? Like, what? Okay, let me think. And my brain was just like wrecking. So with that, I'm just like, also because everything's streaming now. So it's like, well, who has which platform is watching what? Anyway, I hear you. And some of it is hard because it's like, it was fine at the time. And then it becomes dated because we like learn that, oh, like you shouldn't say that, or you shouldn't like use certain words or language or that. And it becomes dated, but that's gonna happen now to some extent anyway. But I do think there's a missed opportunity in utilizing entertainment as a platform, because it's like I talk about play a lot, and play is a way of practice and like getting out of like the seriousness to address things. And you can do that in media because, like you had said, it's an opportunity of like, oh, it's low stakes because it's not you, it's a character that you're like watching and maybe you care about or whatever, and like they do something and it's not you, but maybe you've done the thing, but like they do a thing, and then like you can scenario it for people and be like, oh, like they did learn something new and they could change their minds and everybody survived. But we don't get to like that's not modeled for us if it's not in our actual lives, and like it might be a missed opportunity in TV. I feel like kids shows do it. Kids shows do it. Like Sesame Street, like Mr. Rogers would do things like that happen. But then like in adult TV, I feel like I can't think of more recent examples, but again, I'm not the best source for that.
I have one that's more recent that showed it, but not in a making fun way. It was Watchmen that was on HBO, and they really, really went after racism in that. But it was not a comedy, and it was not a sitcom. But that one was really when.
You know who does a good job of it? Does anyone else watch Archer?
Oh, ooh, yes.
Okay. Mallory is racist as fuck, but
that's actually a good point. It doesn't happen in human live action as much, but like in like grown up like animated things way
Yeah.
more often, or like is way more possible. Like even this is a little bit of a stretch, but like even like Big Mouth, like mental health and sexual puberty things, like they address so much in that, but it's it's a great thing, but also it's animated versus like in live action, like Jeffersons style and other stuff.
And I think the key point to me, again, what I take from Sanford and the Jeffersons for sure is like the pushback. Like they show you how to push back on a racist. Like they show you how to push back on a sexist. So we're missing that aspect of, hey, well, that person is racist. Okay, so what do I do? You know what I mean? Like subtle things like, you know what I mean? Even again, Mama Jefferson saying hell no to her son, which she never, ever, 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 ever does. To see her push back on him was like, damn, I almost had to take like, damn, like, so I think there's, you know, there are subtle ways to teach people things, Jackie, and there's also, you know what I mean, and there's also like subtle ways is in pop culture and shit like that. And I think that's what we're kind of missing, and that's why some people want to push back on racism or sexism, and they just don't have the words. And then later you're like, damn, I should have said something to him. I mean, how often does that happen? Or damn, I should have spoke up, or I should have at least said, you know, no. And I think, you know, these subtle things in these shows can be really helpful as far as like, again, you see something and then you respond. You can't just let that shit go. There are things that you just cannot let go. You know what I'm saying?
You'll dig this. A couple of years ago, I'm out somewhere, I forget where, and the person I'm sitting with starts making anti-Semitic remarks. And looked at him and I said, you know I'm Jewish, right? He was like, when did you convert to Judaism? And I said, the second you started making anti-Semitic remarks.
Yes.
Hey, can I make another show that is not even low-key racist, but it's an older show, and I loved the show. And then when I rewatched some episodes, I was like, ooh.
Whoops.
MASH was super fucking racist towards Asian folks.
Yes.
But they also, like you said, to push back, like, you know, some of the characters be like, you can't do that. They're human beings. Like they did have pushback on that, but like that show had some really fucking racist shit going on in it.
MASH had one black character and his name was Spear Chucker. Spear Chucker Jones. What?
Yes. So that was my comment about that's really the only show that I'm watching. I'm watching late. I watch movies with my sons. I'm bringing them up, showing them the old school movies. Nothing really to point out there. So we're gonna get to Lauren. What do you got?
What are you watching? What am I watching?
Yeah,
I was like, what are we talking about? Sorry.
Yeah, nothing racist and sexist, right? Like me.
No.
Okay.
So I am actually recently have been watching a show that is on HBO Max called His Dark Materials, because it's related to based on a book club that I'm part of, and it's related to His Dark Materials, and it's a trilogy, and The Golden Compass is the book that we're reading. And I, again, not the best source always, have never read or watched or seen the movies or the books. I've none of that experience. Apparently I had a terrible childhood because it missed out on that. But it's super interesting, and it's like a parallel world with very similar to ours, but there's like some like demon, but like they're not like scary demon things. And there's like some magical fantasy stuff, but it's like very much set in a Earth-like world. And it's super interesting. I have not watched, in my based on book club, have not watched the movie. I heard that it was not good, but His Dark Materials is super interesting. It's not hard. It's just, it takes time because they are like hour-long episodes. And just the other day I was like, okay, like, where am I? And I was like, we've only watched like 3 of these. Like, I feel like I've been watching this for like ever. But it's really well done. It's super cinematic. It's kind of interesting because it's slower. It's not slow paced, but it's kind of slower, but in a sort of PC choppy way. So like the story moves, but like scenes are a little slower. But it's fantasy and they're kind of like piecing together riddles and you're not supposed to know everything. So it's super interesting. And it's hard because I am reading and watching side by side. And I'm like, well, that I know what's happening there, but I also don't know what's happening in this scene. So it's a very interesting process for me. But I'm watching those things. I do enjoy the show though. I mean, I don't always watch a lot of fantasy, but I do think it's well done from what I can tell so far.
Excellent. Jackie, are you watching anything before we get to Doug?
Yo,
I know we know you're reading something. We'll get to that in a second.
season finale of the it's the not the season finale, the end of The Expanse. What? The Expanse was so good.
Oh,
Yeah.
no spoilers. No spoilers, right, Doug?
Yeah, because I've been waiting for my wife to catch up, and with everything else going on the list, that's kind of been in the background. But yeah, please no spoilers. I am so looking forward to seeing how that ends.
Yeah, Doug. Doug's
let's-
talked about that. I'm sorry, go, Jackie.
I'll say this much: the next 3 books should be on the big screen.
Yeah, I've heard multiple people say that. So, and I hope they do.
The next 3 Expanse books.
Dude, the Expanse books are this thick. They're huge.
It's like a Dune situation.
Doug, spoiler alert.
Thanks, Manny.
He doesn't. You know that's not even true.
Just fucking with you.
Right. That's not even true. Does anybody see real quick? Anybody see Wheel of Time? What does everybody think of it? Nobody?
Yes.
Jackie, what do you? What's your
I
thoughts?
like Wheel of Time.
Okay.
I've
Okay.
never read the
Doug
book,
talked
so.
about. Didn't Doug talk about it, or someone talked about it
Doug,
once? Like,
that's
what is
right
Wheel
up
of
your
Time?
wheelhouse. Yeah, Doug, that's right up your wheelhouse, ain't it? Wheel of Time.
Yeah, I've never even read the books, so it's kind of why I never got into that. And here's the thing: fantasy is tricky for me, and it's some of it I really dig, and some of it I'm just like, eh. Yeah. So I don't know. I'll have to read a book and read like the first book in the series. And go
Really,
from there.
Doug? So like you won't see it unless you read the book because you know that there's books on it.
Not necessarily. I started The Expanse without having read any of the books, and
Gotcha.
I was like, this is fucking great. And then my son actually got the first book, and I was like, okay, well, I'm reading this now. And he's like, what? I got it. I'm like, yeah, I'm reading it. You can. I have a million other books. Pick someone else. I'll finish this, and then you get it back.
Right.
Pulled some
Yeah,
tenure.
JC, I've seen 2 episodes and I'm going to go back, but especially by the reaction that Jackie just gave and Daniel Fisher, I'm definitely going to get back on it. So y'all need to shut up.
Did anyone check out Foundation?
Excuse me?
Did anyone check out Foundation?
No, what's Foundation?
Apple TV Foundation. It's good.
What
I'm trying to remember. I saw a trailer
It
for it. I
sounds
can't remember what it
familiar.
was. Yeah.
what streaming service, Jackie? Where can we find it?
I'm pretty sure it's on Apple. So it's basically one guy. I'm pretty sure it's like Jeff Bezos decides that having children isn't good enough. He's the only person that can run the world. So he's got clones of himself for hundreds of years.
What?
And at any point in time, there are 4 versions of him that are alive. The older version, the middle-aged version, the young version, and the baby version. And he keeps raising himself because he's the only person that can run the future.
Talk about a narcissist.
Okay.
And the whole thing falls apart.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, tangent. Would you want to raise yourself?
Ooh.
Like,
I was.
I mean, part is like, I was a pretty good kid. My parents got lucky. I like didn't do things.
I was idiotic.
Yeah. Raise me.
You're like, that's it. There, your voice went up an octave there. I don't know if I believe you.
Right. Isaac, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah, right. Foundation,
Right.
The foundation thing.
Right. I'm not sure.
That sounds right to me. I'm not the best person, but that sounds right.
Doug, let me know if you want to talk about Wheel of Time books. Talk about thick ass books, he says. Wow.
Big books, baby. Aaron
Yeah.
bringing the sexy talk.
Yeah. You like your books thick, right, Doug?
Mm-hmm.
And you like your books that you can smell them, but I'm not trying to go there.
Thick and a strong spine.
Doug's, right. Doug smells his books. Do y'all smell books?
I
Yes.
definitely do. Yes.
That's a real thing. Like new, or like older first edition.
It's a real thing. There's a whole podcast episode on it. Our friend Mallory O'Mara talked about it. Yeah.
It smells like I have friends who play a lot of board games and like fresh cards, like not cards, but like in like board games, like fresh cards, similar vibes.
Yeah, y'all out here smelling books. I don't even know what to say to you.
To each their own, Greg. To each their own.
I shouldn't judge, right? Right. Okay. So Jackie, so we got what you're watching, right? Doug, what's going on?
All right, so I have two things. The first one is apropos for this week because, Brewdog, fucking Brewdog.
What are you watching?
So this was talking basically about there's two guys who started the Brewdog brewery in upper part of Scotland and grew it to this massive thing. And the one guy, we were talking earlier about people that just kind of look like skeezy shits, and he does. And the other guy, so it's this guy, James Watt and Martin Dickey. Yes. So James Watt, they had a kerfuffle a couple of years ago where they were interviewing people and made them come to the interview on their own dime, ask them questions on how they would do things, what they would propose to solve these issues. And they never hired them, but they took their ideas. It was a real shady thing to do in a business practice. They've had other things. And then recently the James Watt got accused by several women of sexual harassment. Like I think 300 ex-employees signed this letter talking about how it's a hostile work environment and everything like that. This episode, which I had to find on Vimeo because there's no other platform I could find it on. Basically, that reporter there goes through like the financial shit they pulled and like all the stuff they do, and then they didn't touch enough on the sexual harassment. Yeah, but they touched upon it. But like, I think it's a good thing if you want to get kind of the gist of what they're doing with that.
Oof.
So
you're watching some real light comedy.
Don't drink that shit. Don't drink that shit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
My opinion. We're back to that.
So the other thing I was watching, not lighter, because it's kind of dark story.
Oh, but I've heard creepy. Yes.
Yes. So this is a kind of creepy. It's called Archive 81. It's based on a podcast that I listened to. Oh. And basically it's like this guy's restoring damaged videotapes, but kind of pieced together weird shit in his past, as well as shit that happened in this building that caught on fire and 13 people were never recovered. And it's like just this kind of deep dive. The podcast was excellent. And so far the show has been very good. So highly recommend.
So is it real? Yeah. I'll get to you a second. Is it real life? It's a podcast. Is the podcast fiction or?
Yeah, it's a serialized podcast. I like those where it's like fiction story that tell over podcast, but that's what it was based on.
Okay, I'm sorry, Lauren. I cut you off. What you had?
That's okay. Related. I was gonna ask podcast of the same name.
Yep.
Okay, cool. I probably can't listen and watch because I will never sleep again. But I have a lot of friends who I'll probably recommend it to.
Excellent. So we will jump to this now. So most of the people that are probably watching right now have been on our stream, and Doug and I pride ourselves in that aspect, meaning y'all are part of this. This is as much for y'all and with y'all as it is with me and Doug. So we love that aspect. So y'all know in pre-production, we ask what y'all reading or TV, and that usually drives what happens on the stream. So we asked Jackie what was up and what was going on with him this week, and I can't even fit all the things that this man is reading. He gave us all reading inferiority, or at least me, a reading inferiority complex, like Mallory did, Doug, when she came on, and she's just like, man, I just read a whole bunch of books, and I don't know, man, I just struggle with reading books. So, Jackie, you're going to tell us how you manage reading all these books and or listening, and then let's jump into some of them so we can show them. Hopefully, I can get them over here. I have a whole bunch, so hopefully I can show them in a way so you can talk about them. How do you choose the books you read? You were chastising Lauren a little bit for being a fiction lady.
No, not chastising. I love
noticing.
I love fiction.
Okay, my bad.
I have actual books that are fiction. All my poetry books, all my fiction books, actual books. My nonfiction is all audio books. And
okay.
I'm got about 6 of them I'm going through right now. I try to feed myself a lot of feminist thought because I was raised in a culture of misogyny. Listen, like I'm trying to undo that shit.
Yeah,
I'm working on it.
All you got to do is try. I appreciate it, man.
Like if you're a grown-ass man, read you some bell hooks. For real. Like start.
No, this one.
Yeah, like read you some bell hooks.
What's this one about, Jackie?
The super short version, it is about how both black and white men have actively participated in the dehumanizing of black women for centuries. There are too many black men who think that the opposite of white supremacy is black supremacy, and all that is black patriarchy, and that is dehumanizing to black women. I'm not here for it.
Right.
I am, we were always fucked up. At least I was. I was raised fucked up. I'm trying to be a better person. I'm trying to take what my parents did right and go, yes, and what they did wrong and go, nah, and educate myself. So I'm reading a lot of, I'm reading the 1619. I just finished the 1619 project. Like, I'm not even going to discuss race with people who haven't read the 1619 project. We're not speaking the same language. I'm speaking English and they're speaking asshole. Nah, we're not even gonna, I can't even converse with those people. I'm trying to educate myself because my real job is to create a platform for marginalized people to tell their stories in their own voices. That's my job. Sorel is a vehicle by which we tell stories. It tastes delicious. It looks good in a bottle. We make great cocktails. But at the end of the day, it is about telling stories of people whose stories aren't usually heard.
What about this one, Jackie?
That is exactly what it sounds like. There is a tendency, and Lauren, please correct me if I'm wrong on this. There's a tendency to treat women differently if they're not this epitomized version of femininity that we've been taught to embrace through misogyny. And like, a woman is a woman, and you have to accept the fact that women don't have to be your ideal. They can just be themselves, and you don't got fuck to do with it.
Correct. And I stand by that. And I have definitely experienced things. I was raised to be a strong woman, and I do not like when people don't assume that, like, oh no, don't carry heavy things. I was like, it is a small box. Like, it is fine. Like, right. I'm not a dainty, delicate flower that's going to wilt upon like any wind blown my way. Like, it's fine. I can do hard things. I'm a smart person. So yes, please, love it.
Hey.
Sorry, I was like,
Jackie, what do you?
More. I was like, more books. There's so many.
Yeah, Jackie, what do you got for this one?
That is also what it sounds like. It is about the difficulty it is to be a person of color in this country and to be legitimately angry about how we have been treated for centuries and somehow always have to be dignified in how we express it, otherwise we get dismissed.
No.
It's too emotional.
Yeah.
Angry, like I'm not gonna lie, I'm an angry black man. I am. I got a lot to be angry about. But I know that like I have to present myself in a particular way. Yo, this is the woman who started the Me Too movement.
Yep. Yeah, I thought that too. That was
This is essential reading for the days we live in.
Unbound.
Yeah.
All right.
Loving that cover art.
Ooh, this is really good. Yo, everything Roxanne Dunbar writes, read it. I've read, this is the fourth book I think I've read of hers, but basically this debunks this mythology about our country being a nation of immigrants. It really is not. It's a wonderful myth that lets us sell a particular kind of economy, but we're not a nation of immigrants.
And why not?
Got to read the book.
Okay.
No spoilers.
All right.
It's good. Oh, yo, this is the feel good thing. So, like, again,
having Brene Brown as part of it. Yeah.
Have you seen this, Lauren?
No, I was like, I'm familiar with both of them, and I had listened to not this, but like a podcast that the two of them were talking on, and I was like, oh, I assume similar vibes ish, but yeah, tell us about this one.
Again, it is unlearning some of the things that we are taught to dislike about women, but specifically women of color. We're taught that, you know, your hair is not okay and your eyes aren't okay, and you're too tall and you're too short and you're too fat and you're too smart, and it's all about like the nonsense we were taught and how to unlearn it.
That's awesome. I love like just the title, like the title alone feels good to me. I mean, and also I was like, okay, I like both of those humans who are related to it. But yeah, like so often the USU vibe, like you were talking about earlier, like, can I just like, you are welcome for me. I'm me. It's fine. You're you. It's great. So I love that.
This is interesting. See those little red lines in the cover of that book? This talks about, you know, we talk about racism being institutional. It literally describes the process by which this government shut generations of people of color out of being able to create wealth for themselves by drawing red lines on a map and dictating where they could not live. There were whole districts which was like, okay, people of color can live in this place, and we're going to have restrictive mortgages for them that either are going to not allow them to keep their houses, or it's going to be so hard for them to keep their houses that they'll never get to do anything else but that. Racism is built into law in this country, and this book breaks it down to molecules.
Oof. Red line, otherwise known as redlining, right?
Redlining. Yo, when my parents moved into the house that I was raised in, they were the only black family around for miles. Now it's an all-black neighborhood.
And lastly,
ooh, fuck the Sackler family. Yo, they're the worst. This is about how the Sackler family became the biggest drug dealers on the planet, and how evil, and I do mean evil, they are. They're worse. What Pablo Escobar got nothing on the Sackler family. Nothing.
Mm-hmm. That Doug, you know about the Sackler family? I have no idea what.
Yeah, that's all about the opioid epidemic, and they're right now literally right now, they're trying to get out of paying the judgments that they were handed for being responsible for the opioid epidemic. And interestingly, something that I was watching earlier that somebody talked about the opioid epidemic. Yes, it's the Sackler families were the folks that pushed that. knowing the fucking horrible effects that shit had on people. They didn't care. They just wanted the money out of it. But that's almost 80% of opioid addictions on this planet are in the United States. 80%.
And that's mostly them.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Whew.
Yeah.
Right.
Heavy.
Right. Doug, what's this?
Oh, that is not so heavy.
Elegant segue. Let's go.
Lighten up a little bit. I'm sorry for bringing it down, y'all.
No
No,
worries.
it is important. Do not be smaller. You are sharing.
Absolutely.
It's great.
Yep.
Absolutely. And it's
All
nice to see what everybody's reading though. Like I love this aspect of like, you know, seeing what everybody else is into. And I hope that on some level, I hope that we inspire people to get out of their box and read or see different things. And that's why Doug and I started this whole, what are you reading? What are you watching? Because it also gives an insight. In my opinion, what you watch gives an insight to who you are and where you're and kind of where you're at that phase of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we go to different phases in our life. And, you know, some people are looking back, looking forward. Some people are, you know, like Jackie, who, you know, to me, Jackie, you're one of these people that needs your mind fed with, you know, whether it be information or, you know, stories and facts. And not that we all don't need to be fed, but, yeah, you're just on a different tip and I love it. And the best part about it is when anybody comes on, Doug, I have all this saved, all these screenshots and all that. So it's just easy for me to go back and be like, oh, what was Jackie talking about? And I can just jump right in. Even months, I never, you know, delete them. So they're all in like one big file, so I can all look back. But yeah. So I'm sorry, Doug. What's up with Insomnia, Stephen King? Hold on. But first, it's Stephen King. So I feel like I'm going to be scared and shit.
Well, so this is actually. Let me give you a little story to why I'm reading this, and it's be very brief. A friend of mine had never read the Dark Tower series, so he and I read it together. I'd read that series 4 or 5 times. I love that series, and he read it for the first time. So it's just us kind of sharing notes and then what they thought, blah, blah, blah. Insomnia is part of that universe. It's not Dark Tower, but some of the characters go into the Dark Tower. That's part of and Stephen King is really kind of famous for making books that are kind of tangentially part of all of it. Like the Dark Tower is a central hub, which the Dark Tower is more like a fantasy fucking series than it is a horror series by any stretch. But Insomnia is like apparently I weirdly had never read this, and I've read a lot of Stephen King, but this was one I actually hadn't. And we decided, Aaron and I decided we would go back through and read this. But okay, good to know.
How far? If that's the case, how far along are you in this, Doug?
I am up to chapter 7, so I'm not that far. That's also another really thick book. Yeah, so it's early because Stephen King books are almost always incredibly long. But yeah,
is that a big thick one, Doug? You said.
Mm-hmm. With a good strong spine, as I said before.
So, Jackie, real quick, again, inside the mind of a person who reads and who, consumes a lot of books, how, you told us before that half of them you listen to audio and then half of them you read manually. How do you decide that, and what goes into that thought process?
Or why?
So,
right.
Fiction books, part of the problem is I ran out of physical space.
That's helpful. That's fair.
I can't have all of the books. My home isn't big enough. I have one room that is literally dedicated to reading. I've got to study. And awesome. I've got 2 bookcases that fill top to bottom with books. And the books that I want to read over and over again, I have physical books with. And that's always my fiction books. For the traveling I do, if I'm on a plane, I want audiobooks and I'm listening to nonfiction because I'm it's a different level of attention that you pay. Do you know what I mean?
So do you feel like when you if you do nonfiction with audiobooks, do you feel like you pay better attention because it's like not conversational per se, but like you're listening versus visually words in your eyeballs reading?
I think it's different because when I'm reading fiction, I'm visualizing what's happening as I read it. Well, no one needs to see your asshole, dude.
Apparently you do.
We all do, apparently.
But when I'm listening to nonfiction, again, it's a different kind of attention that I'm paying because I'm learning and not just getting lost in the material.
That's fair. I have almost not the opposite problem, but like with podcasts or audiobooks, I sometimes have a problem because like if you said like if you're like on a plane or like commuting or something like that, that's one thing where you're kind of like there and like listening. And like if I'm focused on listening, that's one thing. But like the thing where people will like listen to a podcast or listen to an audiobook as they like clean their house or something like that. Like I have a problem because like I tend to listen and then realize I'm not listening and be like, ooh, I missed the last 20 minutes because I was like listening, but like not really. And so I have a hard time choosing audiobooks because I'm like, I'm not gonna, like, I want to actually consume the information, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, whatever. I tend to want to read, but then I'm working on making more time for reading because it's hard. There's a lot of stuff happening.
Mm-hmm. Nothing beats the movie screen in your mind.
Okay. Related note. So the reason that I'm reading and watching the things that I mentioned here is because I had made up I think I mentioned this before at some point, but like based on a book club with some friends where we choose material that is a book and a movie and or TV series or something like that. And it's so interesting because so often the book is better, right? Because like even if you see the movie and then read the book, like I feel like a lot of times people are like, the book's better. But it's like you make it kind of what you wanted a little bit, like within the realm of the author's purpose, but you like visualize characters and scenes kind of how you want, and then you see the movie and you're like, oh, that's not what that character is supposed to look like. Like, do you all have the same vibes or like different things, or do you like, will you see a movie? I mean, I guess Doug kind of have like see a movie before if you know a book exists, or would you actively try to read first?
There you go.
So JHC jumps in here and says movies can destroy a good book. Misery, for instance.
I mean, also
great book, dumb movie. And I believe this is Doug saying JH agree. I agree. I'm somewhere in the middle on this one. Misery is one of the ones that I've actually read a book and seen the movie, and I kind of have to lean more to JHG. The movie, well, I'll say this: the movie didn't do the book justice, but when does a movie ever do the book justice? Because then it goes back to what. Okay, and there's always an exception to a rule, Doug. But nothing beats a movie screen in your mind. So, like, I think, Lauren, to answer your question.
At least Lauren.
I'm sorry. I heard.
No. It ain't your fault. It's Jackie's fault.
I was like, did anybody else hear that? Like, am I?
Right, I heard it. I heard it, and it just dropped me, and I didn't have anything to respond. And Doug knows it's rare that I don't have a fucking response for everything.
I mean,
like,
yeah. I'll say, yeah.
No, yeah, I guess we could talk about movies and books forever. But to answer your question, I don't know. I always prefer the books usually coming out of it. Doug, what were you going to say to Jay? I know you want to comment on the JHG thing. And if you want to comment on what Lauren said too, or asked.
Well, I think I think generally books are going to be better than movies for the most part. Just because you can put your own spin on it. You can do whatever you want with your brain to make it kind of do whatever, right? There's some that there's a handful of them that you can read and watch the movie and realize that the movie is actually better. And Fight Club, for instance, even the author of Fight Club said the movie was better than the book. And that's saying something, because Helmut can write his ass off. He's a good writer. but the way they interpret it. But that, I think, as you said, is like the exception that proves the rule. I think then there's something like you look at Lord of the Rings wasn't better than the books, but I thought they did a very good job of kind of showing that, even if it was way too fucking long. But like that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion, man.
Right.
Anybody ever get high and read?
What I mean, like read what?
Anything.
What do you read? It's any like poetry, fiction, nonfiction, and I mean maybe not nonfiction. That might be a lot.
Fiction is fun to read when you're high.
I mean, sure.
I
mean,
everybody
could I
non-committal here
drink
on the
this and then the same vibes, right?
Absolutely. Because
Right.
I can't tell you how many movies I've watched and been, God damn it, I should be high for this. I'm too.
Right.
Why am I watching this movie? And I'm not high?
Right. I
Is
got
there a
that.
good? Okay, like when you say that, my first thought is like Fantasia. But like, what movies do you have in mind?
Oh, pretty much
Oh,
everything.
now.
Everything's better when you're high.
Just everything, all of it.
Right. Right. Like
Fast and Furious, you should watch high.
Like
Then it all
the
makes
first
sense.
one or any of them.
Any of them.
I feel like I fell
Or-
off that. Like I didn't watch a
you
lot
could
of
just,
them.
or you could just not watch them because they're shit.
But I'm telling you, watching high, they're the best
But
thing ever.
high,
Yeah,
right.
I don't get high, so like I don't shit anybody that does. Well, apparently I do. So, yeah,
No,
you're correct.
no, you don't. No, you
Yeah,
don't.
no, but I don't. It's not for me, and that's totally cool. But I think there's certain things, like Jackie said, you could look at that and go, you need some sort of mind altering thing to watch.
Right. Like mindless shit. Right. Right. Not again, Doug. I would love to watch The Expanse high, but like that's not mindless shit. If that makes
Right.
sense.
like you need to focus.
Yeah, like you need to pick up the characters and what's going on, and there's a whole politics angle, and there's like different angles and relationships that like you can, in my opinion, you can just miss.
Like the Rock is one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood, but that only makes sense if you're on a mind-altering substance.
Right. You ever see that? What's the dumb movie he just came out with? Jungle Cruise.
Jungle thing?
Mm-hmm.
Jungle Cruise?
Listen,
You should be high for that shit.
he is like every time he's in a movie, you know exactly what fucking movie you're getting, right?
Right, because he plays the same person every movie.
He plays The Rock in the movie with a
Right.
character with a different name, and you're going to get the same movie all the time.
Right, right. So, couple comments here. I like reading after the movie. I like reading after the movie because you can read the character's voice in mind.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Did anyone ever else read Tom Swift science fiction as a kid?
I did not.
Nope.
I think so.
Has anybody seen the Book of Boba Fett?
No.
See, the Book of Boba Fett comes off to me, Jackie, as something I want to watch high. Now, I've never seen it, but I don't feel complex. And y'all can tell me in the comments. I don't feel complex plot or anything with any Star Wars shit. I'm sorry. Like, and I don't mean shit as in like it's shitty. I mean, Star Wars shit.
Listen, we all love Star Wars, but you got to spend a lot. You got to suspend a lot of disbelief to Star Wars because it doesn't make sense.
Right?
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, if you watch The Expanse and watch like the way they do the science fiction in The Expanse versus Star Wars. Now, granted, Star Wars was started fucking goddamn in the 70s, so but they know more stuff now and they still do the same thing. But
Daniel verifies what I just said. Right.
But here's why Star Wars would make sense if you're high. You know they wrote that shit high. You know they did.
Some of those
like certain scenes, right? Specifically, you're like, yeah, okay, come on.
And then midi-chlorians. Right?
Yeah.
Hey, look, I watched, and man, that was a new movie. See?
It's like the book and the movie it's like it's a layered approach.
Right. And like Daniel says, The Expanse is way more hard science fiction. You know what I mean? And hard, he means, again, there's depths to this. How about that? Where there's really, in my opinion, no depth to Star Wars. I'm sorry, Star Wars people. I'm just not feeling.
I agree.
You know what I mean? And then, is this the same with Star Trek and Star Wars, right? Where Star Trek, there's depths to this, and Star Wars, not so much.
Oh,
Yeah. Arguable.
Right. Because I don't know, Star Trek always gave off a more like we're actually trying to be more science than fiction here. I mean, we're fiction, whereas Star Wars comes off way more as fiction. And like Jackie says, you got to suspend some disbelief, but that's fine though, because my boys are already talking about suspending disbelief when we watch Batman movies. So, of course, the dude is running around in a cape, flying around. So we got that. But like my boys they're teenagers and they just don't understand a lot of the love interests that Batman has and how that like comes off as so unrealistic that he's like kissing up on Catwoman, but then somehow they don't know that they're each other. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like, how do I get that? My 16-year-old's like, how do I work that? You know you're Catwoman. You were just kissing up on her. He's told me, and I'm like,
here's what I don't get about Batman.
I kind of got it.
How was the IRS not audited his ass?
Hey, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Jackie, but we had a guy tell us not so long ago that audits take years, so you really have to just be patient.
Right.
He's hiding billions of dollars.
Right.
How is the IRS not audited his ass? Like, someone's got to be asking questions, right?
I mean,
because he's white, Jackie?
Is that rich white dude? And you just pay him off? Can you just pay him off?
Because he's a rich white dude, right? They don't get audited.
Like
Fuck that.
Like,
right.
You don't need to check out this bat cave. Like, just move along.
Right.
Is that how it works?
I knew I was going to spark something when I said Star Trek is Star Wars. So Star Trek is way more thoughtful than Star Wars.
Agreed.
I agree. Jackie, you were talking about Lower Decks, weren't you?
Lower Decks is amazing.
Yes. Okay, that was you. Star Trek is more grounded in science than Star Wars ever was. I agree to that. Star Trek is more actual physics that they try to explain.
Yeah, it's like more. It's just like Aaron said. Like it's more like it's thoughtful. Like it's a more rounded world. Like there's culture and philosophies and like the different. Like there's so much more depth and layer to all of everything that's happening.
Right. Diplomacy and philosophy here. Yup. Yeah, if you're a Star Trek fan, follow Michael Akuda on Twitter. He's a gem. Okay. Jackie, Daniel agrees with you. Lower Decks is amazing.
Lower Decks is the shit.
Right. And Zach hits the point. White's got mad tax loopholes to hide back caves. Another sign off here on Lower Decks. And then JC says he wrote him and responded, great human being. I think we're talking about
Michael
Okuda on Twitter. Yeah, so I have no idea who that is. But we'll have Daniel on next week to talk about all this. Yeah, Lower Decks sounds like a sports themed strip. And
Jackie coming to the stage.
Jackie, real quick though, because when you go look up Lower Decks, you see animation. So the animation part doesn't make it less. What do you got? Give me a synopsis real quick about Lower Decks.
Here's the beauty of animation that we already know. You can tell stories you can't tell with live acting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, Lower Decks is the theory that all they ever show in Star Trek is the officers. Mm-hmm. What's happening for the people who actually run the ship?
Right.
That's the Lower Decks.
Right. So lower decking is not when you ship below someone's toilet. Like an upper decker is when you shit.
No. Got nothing to, I don't even think they shit in Star Trek.
I mean,
okay.
No.
I just have to make sure because we're all apparently Zach has refer to us. Maybe we're all experts in lower decking, so I don't. All right, y'all. We best soon kind of try to wrap this up. Jackie, did we miss anything? Is there anything that you want to talk about? Anything that you want to say? Something we didn't get to?
Does everyone have a toast?
More, please. Hold.
Yeah. Lauren, can we see that bottle again? Because how much have you been sipping while we
I mean, it's delicious. What do you want from me?
This is what I tell people. Like, you can polish 2-3 people can polish with a bottle in an hour easy. But
right.
You would never do that with any other liqueur.
Don't judge me. It's delicious.
I'm working on it. All right, Jackie. So we all have our.
So, my mom died this month. And she was 94. She died of congestive heart failure. She'd been sick for about a year. And she died the way she lived, which was exactly how she wanted. She died in her home. She had her faculties with her. Her spirit was as strong as ever. She died with me holding her hand, telling her how much I loved her. And I'm having a tough month, so this was really, really helpful for me because I lost my best friend and my mom at the same time. And I just want to put a toast to my mom. Cheers.
Cheers to that.
May she live forever.
May she never die.
I'm so sorry, and I'm glad that it went down how the best it could have gone down for both of you, I think. But that's really hard, and I'm glad that we can be a balance point for you.
I really appreciate it. Like, this was so good because it's been such a hard month. Thank you for this.
Thank you for sharing, Jackie. Seriously. And we love you, man. We're glad you're here.
Yes. And Jackie, again, like Doug says, we love you. And I have to echo everything Doug just said. Like, thank you for sharing that with us. We love to be serious here, but we also love our guests. As I said before, we love people who are in our comments, but we also love to, thanks for letting us share that moment with and share the grief. Because she was clearly a great woman. She had your fucking ass. So, and she taught your ass well. And we love her for that. And we love you because you impart wisdom every time you come here. And you need to be, Lauren and y'all, man, we need to do this. We need to do this in April. That's our next opening, by the way.
Birthday is.
So we're gonna come back and have some Sorel for your birthday. We are currently holding up bookings. Doug knows why. Actually, Doug, I gotta talk to you about that on the side. By the way.
Yeah, that's all right. We can talk about it.
No, right. But that being said, Jackie, thanks for sharing. Do you have anything else that you would like to share with us? We don't have to go anywhere, but we get to the 2-hour mark, and that becomes, I believe, time where we make sure that our guest doesn't have to do anything else. Everybody's comfortable. So I'm not trying to kick anybody off, but at the same time, we're going to get to, yeah, right. So anything else would you like to share with us about Sorel, where to get it, or you're good?
Yeah, I'm good. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for this. Thank you.
Yep. And couple, yes. Let's see here before you go, Jackie. We want to show you everybody who's showing love here. Jackie, much love. You brought tears to my eyes. Me too, pretty much. Sorry for your loss, Jackie. We're sorry, Jackie. Yep. Look at that. Daniel says he has a lot of quality bidding from not y'all, from Jackie.
Really pulling his weight over here.
Jackie, thank you. We'll see you in post-production if you would like to stick around. We'll wrap this up really, really soon. And we love you again, and thank you for gracing us with your presence yet again. And in the spring, late spring, coming back, right, buddy?
I'm here.
All right, all
I'm here for
right,
it.
all right. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie.
Love you all.
Much
Love you
love,
too.
man. It's almost like
Such a good dude.
Yeah.
oh man, this all around. And Lauren, we want to thank you for coming on and gracing us with your presence. We are.
I like
I
y'all.
mean,
It's fun.
between Doug and I, we have like half of a heart left. So like,
We're sharing it across the state.
yeah. So
You have to have joint custody. That's rough.
right. So like, if we got you, then we almost have like, we have a full heart and a little bit more. If it's just Doug and I though, like, what do we call Doug? I didn't get the I'm working on the graphics, brothers and blockage, but we're gonna make sure we get that here. So we got man. If I can't cry, I'm gonna laugh. So that's kind of where it is. But Doug, of course, I'm happy to see you, and I'm happy we're back and all that bullshit. So yeah, let's see here. Yeah, clear eyes and full hearts, can't lose. We'll see Aaron here in a couple weeks. I'm not sure when that is, but that's coming up.
Yeah.
We will see Mr. Daniel Fisher. I'm feeling mad good right now. Good stuff. That Sorel helps. It's so smooth and so nice, and the diversity of it is nice. It's not like just like vodka or something. Like the diversity of it, we already went through tonight, Lauren.
Like
Lauren had it
on its own.
warm. Lauren had it cold. I'm really intrigued in the war.
Like the hotter.
Just to warm it up and make it hot, like a hot toddy or
Like a hot toddy, yeah.
yeah, or something. I'm not really into the warming up booze, but Jackie said it, so I'm gonna do it.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Don't knock it till I'm trying it. Absolutely. So, do we have anything else, Doug? We do. So we all had this tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if y'all want any parting shots or comments on this. We clearly recommend it, right, y'all?
Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible.
So do we have one thing that we want to comment on it? I mean, is this an afternoon cocktail? Is this a late night cocktail? Is this something you mix? Is it something you sip? I mean, what's your favorite?
All of
What would you recommend?
above?
You say, listen, I got one way to drink it, Lauren. Where would I go? Just pour it?
Okay, I haven't had it. I mean, like, okay, I'm cheating. If you're gonna go, there's one way to drink it, do a baby flight tastings. Do all the things. Taste it room temp. Have a little bit iced. Have a little bit warmed. I apparently got to try some on ice cream. Make a little cocktail, like
Ice cream.
Daniel did. Like do a little mini baby flight because it's kind of mind blowing how the same but different profiles it is across the board. And you're like, when is this afternoon? I was like, all the time. Danger. Winter, summer, all the time. It's so good and so drinkable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Right.
Clearly.
So Daniel says it's hard to rank. If I had to rank, it would be iced, warm, neat, and then mix. Ooh, with tequila.
Oh yes. Great sense. You got me. I got it. Yeah, I do feel like iced. I will say, for me so far, I have not done. I've done room temp and iced, but like iced is the most danger because it's so drinkable.
Mm-hmm.
Like not that the others aren't, but I'm just like I could like sip this and accidentally drink like 12 bottles. It's that drinkable.
Right.
So.
Yes, we did say brothers and blockage. Yes, we did, Zach. Oh yeah, Doug, we should drink it out of a plaster mold of Jackie's mouth.
Maybe.
Nice full lips.
I rank it as shot, get naked, more shots. Okay.
I'm not really sure where that is on the spectrum of Manny, but it feels high.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably.
It makes me remember that song, and I'm going to sing it because I don't give a shit. We don't have to take our clothes off.
Oh, Jermaine Stewart, baby.
We can. So yeah, before we get thrown off and sued, Doug, nice to have you back. Lauren, nice to have you back. We will see you really soon.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm around.
I don't know. Maybe next week.